We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amber TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa. With untold stories, Africa's best.
The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, and 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing into the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be overemphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.
Well, you're welcome back. The Republic of Ambazonia is indeed a promised land. This land, like the land of Canaan promised the children of Israel, is flowing with milk and honey. It has been going on as a rumor, but oil and gas have begun showing up in parts of Manfei and Bisom Bag. Now, this is just one of the endowments of the soil of southern Cameroon's Amazonia. Amazonia is equally blessed with the Limbe deep sea port. There is equally the Menjum Fall that, when developed, can supply energy to the whole of West Africa.
Well, Amazonia is a breadbasket to neighboring La Republic du Cameroon and other neighboring countries because of her fertile soil. With the restoration of the statehood of former British Southern Cameroons, these resources will be her nest to sponsor any desired development. Will Amazonia not be much more advanced if allowed to manage all these resources than what it is today?
Well, Banku, a small river in Baya, quarters of Manfitan, has begun delivering the secrets which have been hiding for centuries in Mayu subsoil. All over the town, rivers are bearing oil fumes, and the smell of gas is all over the town of Manfi. Samples of the oil have already been sent to illegal Sonara for testing, and if confirmed, the Manyu County is sitting on one of Africa's largest oil reserves.
The same signs of a massive oil deposit in Manyu have also shown up in Osing, where the Badi River is mimicking what has just been happening in Baku in Manfi town. It is suspected that Kembong, the county's second largest town, might be holding massive oil and gas reserves. The government of La Republic du Cameroon has never been transparent with the management of the country's resources, and Indian County, which accounts for most of the country's oil deposit, is one of the most underdeveloped areas, with many of the county's children not even going to school.
The oil deposits in Mayu County will have to be managed differently, as the fighting in southern Cameroon is also based on the La Republic du Cameroon's government's poor management of natural resources in southern Cameroon. Mayu's economic and financial destiny and the entire Ambazonians are bound to change with the discovery of these oil and gas deposits. Mayu has many oil and gas experts, and their services will be solicited to ensure the people of this region benefit from their blessing.
All right, now moving on to a very important report. This is that of Dr. Joachim Are's view on Canada mediation of Amazonia, La Republic dialogue. Well, the Southern Cameroon's conflict, which has resulted in the death of thousands and the displacement of more than 1 million and counting, deserves external intervention for a consensus. The Canadian government has opted to openly mediate talks between Southern Cameroon and La Republic du Cameroon for a gentleman's settlement.
Dr. Joachim Are, a Canadian and a native of Osing in the southern Cameroons, has been relentless in his call for peace and has never stopped to urge the Canadian government to play a key role in any talks, given the country's experience in dealing with East linguistics minorities. And he has had this to say when the Cameroon's Concord News Group editor, Soterta Abai, sought his opinion after the announcement by the Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister.
Well, here is an exchange between Dr. Joachim Are and the editor of Cameroon Concord News. From the Cameroon Concord News, he was asked his view on the Canadian government's announcement. Dr. Are responded by saying that the Canadian government announcement regarding the resolution of the conflict in Cameroon's two English-speaking regions, let me clearly state that I am very happy that Canada has come out openly to help find a long-lasting and peaceful solution to the conflict in Cameroon, which has blighted the lives of many Cameroonians, he said.
Well, he kept on saying that Canada has always indicated its interest to play a key role, but disagreements between the warring factions did not let Canada, an honest and neutral peace broker, help pull Cameroon out of the mess. That's what he says. He says Canada was among those countries financing the Swiss-led peace mediation process, which began in 2019, but the Cameroon's government pulled out of the process last year. Well, he says that this was disappointing. Canada has unquestionable experience in the organization of referendums and intergovernmental negotiations, and its offer should be taken seriously by all the parties. He says Canada has once been caught up in a social-political mess like the one in which Canada finds itself when Quebecers wanted to walk away from the Canadian Confederation. The experience will surely come in handy when the North American country will be mediating. Now, I wonder where he's standing. He's neither here nor here, but then let's proceed.
Well, when the Cameroon Concord News asked if he thinks the process will deliver any hope, Dr. Joachim Arre responded by saying, "There is hope on the horizon. Cameroonians cannot afford to miss this golden opportunity. I know Canadians for their patience and determination. There will be challenges, but Canadian negotiators are very astute and experienced when it comes to conflict management and resolution." He says, "Let us not be deceived. If Canada has come out with such a statement, know that the whole world is behind the Trudeau government when it comes to the Southern Cameroon's crisis. There have been several behind-the-scenes talks in Mont Tremblant in Quebec and in Toronto in Ontario. And despite the massive disagreements between the warring factions, Canadian negotiators kept their calm as they have been steering the ship to peaceful shores," he says.
Well, Dr. Are goes on to say that the world is standing behind Canada, the Cameroon's government, which has not yet issued any statement after the Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister said that Canada would lead the negotiation, must seize this opportunity if it really wants peace to return to the country. Well, he says that the separatists have already sent out a press release, and they all, at least most of them, agree that Canada is a trusted partner and are in favor of peace talks, which should reduce tensions in the two English-speaking regions in the month end. Now, the question we are asking this evening is, who are all the separatists that has agreed that Canada is a trusted partner?
Well, that's not all he says. He said even the Vatican is involved in the process. On Sunday, during an address, Pope Francis urged the signatories to the Canadian mediated peace process to persevere on the path of dialogue. Tibonage, the top U.S. diplomat on African issues during the Donald Trump administration, has also chipped in a tweet hoping that the talks would result in peace. He, however, warned that the Cameroon government might engage in delaying tactics. The process will be an uphill climb and time is of the essence. Both parties must demonstrate flexibility, and there is a need for substantive actions such as a ceasefire and prisoner release to ensure that support for the peace process does not collapse. The government must demonstrate a lot of goodwill. It should release Siseko Julius Ayuk Tabe and his team as a demonstration of its seriousness and sincerity.
Now, while the Cameroon Concord News asked about one of the issues which resulted in the escalation of violence, which was their form of the state, Dr. Are responded by saying that he does not think the form of the state has been cast in stone. He says Cameroon was initially a federal system, and it was changed by an individual who thought a united republic would bring more peace and unity to the country. Well, after many decades, it is obvious that a highly centralized system has failed the people of Cameroon. Things are falling apart. Corruption and abuse of power are belittling the lives of our people, he said.
Now, he goes on to explain that the form of the state will be on the table, and to the best of his knowledge, Canada is not for secession. Canada will never support any group which stands for secession. Canada will use its own experience to engineer peace in Cameroon. The most likely form of government which will emerge from these talks will be a federal system, something that Ambazonians are against, which will grant the people the right and opportunity to run their own affairs. While the federal government will only be in charge of the natural resources, the military and foreign affairs, and he says he is hopeful and stands for a federal system.
Well, when he was asked which form of federalism he stands for, Dr. Are responded by saying that ultimately the people of Cameroon who must decide on the form of the state they think will deliver the best possible development result of their country. For him, he said that he stands for a 10-state federal system which will engineer sustainable development in all the nooks and crannies of the country. Well, he went to the Southwest region. He said, my region, that he wants his region, the Southwest region, to be free from any form of fighting. Well, he goes on to say that as a people, he says we should never forget how we got entangled with French Cameroon. It says we must be bold and audacious when it comes to sharing our perspective on the new Cameroons, which will emerge after the talks. That's what he says. He goes on to end this talk by saying, I have spent 25 years of my life in Canada, and I can speak without fear or contradiction that Canadian capitalism and federalism will make Cameroon the envy of the continent. Well, we'll definitely find out more about that, especially when we have Dr. Mungwa come up. But let's have one more report before then.
All right, now moving on to the next very interesting report. President Sako vindicated. The Cameroonian government rejected the announcement by Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly which had been released by her office on Friday, apparently with the approval of all parties to the conflict. La République du Cameroon's communique states that it has not entrusted any foreign country or external entity with any role of mediator or facilitator to settle the crisis, in which La République du Cameroon still refers to as the Northwest and Southwest regions, say the statement issued by the colonial La République du Cameroon Communications Minister René Emmanuel Sadi. It is first and foremost up to the Cameroonian people, to the institutions and leaders, that they have freely chosen to seek appropriate ways and means to address problems facing our country, the statement said, meaning that there is something wrong with the Canadian Foreign Office. The media greatly influences society. They inform people about what is happening. It permeates people's lives by creating their own criteria and opinions. In this way, the media moves the masses, creating different social movements.
For over 60 years, the people of Ambazonia were deprived of such privileges. The privilege to enhance their own criteria and opinion. They have suffered cultural genocide for 6 long decades, but not in this age and not with undaunted ABC Amber News on board.
You must understand that wars are fought and won in the media. The speed of the revolution on Ambazonia's quest for freedom cannot be explained without highlighting the diligent use of the media.
Franco-Cameroon colonizers, among other strategic moves, weaponized the media against Ambazonia for so long, and they continue to do so even today. The question would be, how much do the oppressed people of Ambazonia need to counter the media rage?
Indeed, how much more is required to stop the genocide? The carnage in Ambazonia didn't start today. In 1961, 1972, 1984, 1992, Ambazonians were slaughtered in huge numbers and help was not forthcoming. Why? Because the oppressor was the piper in the media.
The good news is we have what it takes to dictate the pace.
Right now, ABC Amber TV is taking advantage of the wonders of multimedia aggressively
to inform the misinformed and disinformed with undaunted and other revolutionary programs bringing it to the news untold stories.
Most importantly, to win the media war by taking ABC Amber TV into every multimedia platform.
In a word, where the importance of storytelling can never be emphasized, Ambazonians has to tell her own story, not the other way round.
And like we say it always, Ambazonia must narrate her story accurately. We can do this together, you know, right? You are just a click away. Visit our website at www.abcambertv.com, and the steps are quite simple.
With just a click on the website, you can become a club member with so many benefits.
You can also make a one-time donation, advertise and showcase your goods and services at the marketplace on the website.
That was easy, right? You're welcome on board.
And thank you for opting for the winning team.